Republicans, as Paul referenced, are fuming over this leak. They say whoever's responsible for it has to be criminally punished. Some are accusing Democrats of using the leak as well for political gain.
In over 200 years of our nation's history, this has never happened. And I am appalled. This is the most egregious breach of trust.
Liberals want to rip the blindfold off Lady Justice. They want to override impartiality with intimidation.
It was done in order to create chaos and to put pressure on elected officials. And it's just fundamentally wrong that this happened.
As for Democrats, they say the leak makes the bill they're proposing, the Women's Health Protection Act, a must-do. It's a law that aims to codify or enshrine abortion access should Roe v. Wade fall. The bill passed the House but got blocked in the Senate in February when 2 Democrats decided to vote against it. The author of that bill is Congresswoman Judy Chu. She's in Los Angeles. Hi, Congresswoman Chu. Good to meet you and good to have you on our program this evening.
Wonderful to have the ability to have an appearance here.
This leak decision is, of course, not the court's final decision. But from your perspective, in all likelihood, is Roe versus Wade going to fall?
Well, I believe that the reason it was leaked was to see if some justices would change their minds. I thought that this could happen, considering what the arguments were last year by the justices. But it was still shocking to actually read their words. In fact, it was stunning because it's a rollback on women's rights back 50 years, and millions of lives are at stake with far fewer access to abortion services than they would ever have. So I hope that the justices will hear the people. I do believe that because this has been leaked, that the people are galvanized and that you will be seeing many, many rallies across the United States.
And certainly we're already seeing a strong reaction in front of the Supreme Court. We just saw that a few minutes ago. I do want to ask about your own work on the issue, though, because you, in fact, authored the Women's Health Protection Act, which was aimed at essentially, if Roe versus Wade did fall, pushing back against the vacuum it would create, allowing for the right to an abortion to be upheld. However, though it passed the House, it didn't end up passing the Senate, thanks to really a couple of Democrats who voted against it. What is your message to them tonight?
The Women's Health Protection Act would put Roe versus Wade in statute, so it would become the law of the land. It overwhelmingly passed the House. Of course, President Biden said he will sign it into law, so we need the Senate. But when it came up before the Senate, yes, there were some Democratic senators that did not vote for it. We also had a problem with these 2 Republican senators that say that they are pro-choice, but also did not vote for it. So with women's rights in such danger, with people realizing that Roe versus Wade could fall, I hope that the pressure of the people who will indeed fight like crazy to get this to be the law of the land, that will do enough to turn those votes. We could have a majority of votes. We still actually, though, would have to overcome the filibuster that is in the Senate.
And speaking of that, I believe the president was asked today if he would do something to enable that. And he said he's not really at that point yet. What is your reaction to that? Do you think he should be at that point yet?
I certainly would be for doing away with the filibuster. And I think that it's the only fair thing. There should not be a ruling where the minority can stop anything that they want. And that's what's been going on. We have very important legislation regarding voting rights, around policing, around so many things. And if now women's rights with regard to abortion were not upheld because of this filibuster, it would be a terrible, terrible setback.
What's your response, though, to those who say, look, that's the rules to the way that those are the rules of Congress. If we can change them because of certain issues, then who's to say down the road they won't be changed again for an issue you're not in favor of?
I think that the majority should rule for whatever issue there is. That's the only fair thing to do. We are in a democracy, and in a democracy, it's 50% plus one. It's whoever can get the votes.
On the subject of your bill again, and when you talk about sort of what the pressure of or the resulting pressure from this leak might do you anticipate, just given, I mean, you know your party better than Canadians do likely and better than I do you anticipate or do you feel kind of in your gut right now that the political context around your piece of legislation or even the idea of abortion and whether it is legal or not has changed dramatically in the last 24 hours? Like, do you think it has changed enough to create a different context through which your bill would be seen?
I actually do think that it's changed the context. I think that it's possible that those two Republican senators that voted against the Women's Health Protection Act perhaps did not imagine that we would get to this point where it looks like the majority of justices would vote to undo Roe versus Wade. In fact, they expressed shock within the last few hours about the justices because they claim that Justices Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh would not overturn Roe versus Wade because of the precedent that was set. So if they feel that they were lied to, I think then that they should do the right thing and vote for the Women's Health Protection Act.
And just before I let you go, Congresswoman, there's Canada is kind of watching very closely because you're our neighbors, among other reasons. Do you anticipate if Roe versus Wade were to fall, that Canada would see a number of American women coming to this country to seek safe abortions?
Yes, I do. And in fact, I am in the state of California. We actually are already seeing a number of women coming from Texas to California to get their abortions. There is a definite uptick already. And can you imagine if 26 states were banning abortion because of Roe versus Wade falling? Yes, there definitely will be women coming to Canada, to Mexico, and to the other states which are upholding abortion.
Okay, thank you very much, Congresswoman Judy Chu. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.